welcome. My name is James Rice, and I'm cybersecurity faculty here at Mohawk Valley Community College. And in this video, I'm looking to give the necessary background for you to be able to play through the Pac-Man Ping challenges that we've deployed to our Cyber Sandbox. Now, Pac-Man Ping is a video game that I developed a few years ago, and I've linked in the description of this video to a talk that I gave a few years ago where I introduced it at our local hacking event here in the Mohawk Valley region. So if you'd like to kind of see the full history of what my thought process was and some of the things I was experiencing at the time, you can go back and check out that video. It's a short 20-minute talk that I gave a few years ago. But today I'll just sort of give the lightning version of this and say that over my educational career, I've noticed that students oftentimes struggle between the conceptual ideas of what is it that I'm doing and what am I trying to accomplish versus the technical ideas of, okay, I'm sitting at the keyboard, what do I actually have to type? What are the buttons that I have to click? And there's kind of two different things that you have to learn. And so I came up with this game called Pac-Man Ping to try to bridge that gap, to try to take you from the conceptual world and counter something cybersecurity focused that's conceptual, but then let's start to go over to the technical world as well. And of course, that's what we're looking to understand how to play here today. So what you're going to do here from a sandbox perspective is load up the actual video game interface. And so that's what I'm showing you here is the actual video game itself. And in the video game is where you'll be able to pick some levels. You'll be able to play through the levels and encounter something as your little Pac-Man Ping character. And in the very bottom right here is where you can kind of go full screen, and now it's just you in the video game if you so choose to have it that way. It is possible kind of based on your resolution. You might have like a little scroll bar over here on the side. And so you can just scroll down, of course, and then sort of get a more consistent look and feel by going kind of here to this full screen interface. So anyways, I'll walk through one of the initial levels here to sort of show you how to play the game and what to expect. And so on the video game side, this is where we're experiencing the scenario. So I'll click, let's say, on this first level, which is really just a tutorial level. There's nothing really challenging about this. And I've designed this game to be entirely point and click. So you're going to have text boxes that are going to pop up where you might have to click on an option or two. And of course, there's going to be things in your environment like a network card or a terminal or something like that you'll have to click on to interact with. So I'll just sort of say start the level, okay. Also, as you encounter different levels, you'll start encountering different objects and different technical cybery things. And so I do have a little bit of a guide here to show what are some of these things that you're going to encounter in this particular level. You can read through it or just sort of play through the level on your own and encounter them as you will. And so, but this is the idea, right? You're dropped into some network, some scenario, and for each level you have a different task. And that's part of what you have to do as the player, as you're playing Pac-Man Ping on the conceptual side, is to figure out, all right, what's my task? What is it that I'm trying to accomplish? And so for this particular level, they say, all right, you're just trying to successfully ping a website. And so Pac-Man is going to experience that. Pac-Man is going to experience what is it like to go and ping a website in a conceptual manner. All right, and so you can, at any time, you can click on the capture file in the upper left to be able to get a reference again as to what were the things you were going to encounter in the level. In the upper right, you've got a level guide, which can walk you through some hints, like what are the things I should be trying to accomplish in this scenario. So it says, hey, yeah, you should be trying to ping this website to be able to generate some ICMP traffic. And while you're here in this little tutorial level, you should also check out some of the other buttons. Make sure you can click the buttons and kind of understand how to play the game. In the bottom right, you have this view topology view option, which allows you to kind of step back and, again, really focus on the concept of what is it that we're encountering. It's like now I can kind of see a little bit about my network and there's traffic kind of moving all over the place and some devices, and I'm at one location and I'm trying to get to some other location. It's like, okay, fine. So I'll return back to my main view here. And so as you might have guessed, it's like, yeah, I need to interact with my network card. And sort of in a very gamified way, you're going to have some options here to be able to pick, like, yes, I'm going to try to go find pacmanping.com. It says, all right, we're going to send you off to some IP address, and then Pac-Man starts zooming around the network. And so you can start to understand as you were to travel throughout the digital world, you know, Pac-Man kind of travels throughout this little gamified network here to accomplish his task of finding the website, getting to the end, and of course sending the ping signal. So as we kind of continue on, we've got one more jump that we can make through this as you continue to travel around. Eventually you'll get to the end and it's like, hey, congratulations, you found the website. Here we are at the end. You know, you've successfully clicked your way through this level, and of course this level is just one to be able to you know, really just teach you the buttons and sort of show you the interface to the game. So every level beyond the tutorial is really designed to go out and accomplish a slightly more sophisticated task, right? Pinging a website or pinging an address, that's a pretty straightforward thing. So this particular level is really just to kind of show you the buttons and allow you to click through things. For every other level that I have in this game, there is a corresponding action that you can take in a virtual machine as well. And so this level is really just, like I said, for clicking the buttons. So after you kind of are comfortable clicking the buttons and you're not worried about breaking anything here in the game, it's like, okay, I kind of understand how to play. You can go back to your menu, do an exit to main menu, and then let's say pick one of the next levels. So each one of these other levels, there is an actual flag and an actual action I can take in a virtual machine to see if I can accomplish this. So again, you get these little instructions. I can say start the level. You're given a preview as to, hey, these are the things you're going to encounter in this level. It's like, okay, fine. Apparently I've got something new that I'll encounter at some point. And you'll be given a new set of instructions. It's like, okay, I need to discover, explore the network, figure out what I got to do, and I'll get a flag at the end of all this. Okay, fine. And so this is where in-game we can start to bridge that conceptual to technical world. Because if we view the topology for this level, it's like, okay, I'm on a different topology. Things are a little bit different, but there I am. I'm kind of hanging out here in the middle, and I'm not actually connected to anything. And as you start interacting with things in the game, it'll tell you more information like, well, I don't have an IP address. I'm not actually connected to a network. Let me try getting an IP address. And of course, if you tried something by DHCP, you'll see these little like asterisks, asterisks, asterisks. It means like something is happening in the game, of course. And it's like, well, I didn't get a response. There is no DHCP server available. It's like, well, what's your alternative? What else can Pac-Man do to try to get connected to a network? He's like, well, maybe I'll try configuring something statically. So I'll jump back over to my terminal and say, let's try configuring a static IP address. And you, again, get these little explanations that start walking you through. All right, if there's no DHCP server, this is sort of my alternative, is I could try configuring something in a static manner. And you start to get the technical details of what it is that you have to accomplish. So again, paying attention and reading to some of this stuff is going to be critical to actually being successful, just like it will be on the competition day. You're going to get a lot of information thrown at you on the competition day, and this is really trying to reinforce to you that when you're given information that has technical details, you might want to write some of it down. You might want to take some notes. Get in that habit of, here's what I'm trying to accomplish, and I've written it down, and now let me go over to my virtual machine and remember this is what I'm trying to do, now let's see if I can do it. And so you eventually learn here that it's like, yeah, this is the network that you're going to have to get configured to. And once you get configured to this network, like, other things will be discoverable. Other things will be available for you to explore and to encounter. And again, Pac-Man kind of learns, okay, what network mask should I be doing, and what does the network mask kind of mean? So we're meant to kind of bridge a little bit of some of the networking knowledge you've hopefully gained in either some of the tutorial videos or perhaps in your networking classes. And it's like, let's put it in practice in a conceptual scenario, at least for now. All right? And so after he goes and statically configures and resets his interface, it's like, okay, great. Now I'm connected to this new network. And you'll be able to see through the topology button, it's like, hey, there's now this new connection that wasn't there before. I can now see some traffic that's happening on in this network. And you can kind of continue on throughout the level and continue to explore in a conceptual manner what's actually going on with this technology. Now, the interesting part, I think, about the Pac-Man game, again, is it's not just conceptual. Right? You eventually, after you've explored some of these things, these levels in a conceptual way, your challenge is going to be, can you discover the flag in the technical world? Can you actually discover the flag that exists in a virtual environment? And so that's where you'll be able to jump over to a virtual machine. So the virtual machine is where you can try to accomplish these tasks for real. And for all of the Pac-Man levels, you are given access to one Ubuntu Linux box. And so in this particular Linux box, I just want to show a couple quick things about the interface. You'll notice that the resolution might be kind of small here, sort of in the middle. So on the far left side of your interface, you should have this little pop-out, this little control bar that you can kind of expand and hide. And you sort of have a few options if you'd like to go full screen. I definitely, for this video, I'd like to kind of go full screen. You can make it go full screen, and you'll see it says you can hit escape to leave the full screen. Now, one thing about the escape that I do want to mention is if you hit escape to leave the full screen, of course it does work, but realize, what if I needed to hit escape in my virtual machine itself? Let's say, of course, I was editing a file using VI or Vim or something like that. Realize sometimes your escape commands will go to this interface and not into your virtual machine. So I would kind of recommend, you'll notice there's also a gear icon, a little settings icon here on the left, which allows you to switch between a scaling mode. You can either have local scaling or you can kind of turn it off. And so my personal preference is to have this local scaling turned on, make the window go full screen, but not actually clicking the full screen button. And so now, of course, if I hit escape, the escape button is going to actually go into my virtual machine, and you'll be able to use things a little bit more naturally, I find. You get a good interface, but still use everything in a fluid way. So anyways, you can click inside your virtual machine. So I've just clicked in here, and you can hit enter to kind of wake it up. It's probably fallen asleep. And you're given this username called RRC. The computer name is RRC-Ubuntu1. This is the machine that you're going to have access to. And you can log in just with a password of password. All right, yeah. This environment here is not meant to be super difficult to get into or super secure. Okay, so a quick thing about the actual environment: you've been completely isolated from the internet, from everyone else. All right, and so the only things that you're going to have access to through this Ubuntu machine is whatever Pac-Man had access to in the level. So you're going to go over and have to say, okay, what was it that I was trying to accomplish in the level? What was Pac-Man experiencing? Now let me come over to the virtual machine and see if I can do it for real. All right, and if I try to go off to the internet and try downloading things, it's like if I go to c2games.org, it's like, yeah, this is not, there's nothing out there. All right, you will not be able to route out to the internet. You're not going to be able to download or install any new tools or anything like that. Everything that you have is going to be existing here in your virtual machine, and you do have enough tools necessary to complete all of the tasks. I would also emphasize that, it's a Linux environment, it's a computer. There's probably a variety of ways that you could accomplish the task. I'm not pretending that there's only one way to accomplish these tasks. But for the most part, it's whatever Pac-Man encountered, that's really what you should be trying to figure out how to do. Use the tools that are available to me, a lot of the baseline things that would come with an Ubuntu system. Let's see if I can use those tools to accomplish the task and figure out the problems. And I really want to re-emphasize that the purpose of these levels and the purpose of this game is really to take these skills that we've hopefully been learning a little bit about in the classroom, refine them in a challenge style scenario. So it's like, I don't necessarily know what the answer is. I know how I'm supposed to get to the end, but I'm not sure what buttons to type. Let's really refine those skills to be able to do things on purpose and do them quickly. And for every single one of these levels, for every single one of the activities that you see here, these are all going to be baseline skills required for taking on some of the service challenges at our national competition. So that's the spirit. That's the goal. Let's see if you can encounter these things in a fun way. And know that you're going to have to know things about IP addresses. You're going to have to be comfortable switching networks and connecting to websites. You're going to have to probably know a thing or two about DHCP and subnetting and firewalls and DNS servers and all that stuff. So let's learn about this stuff in a slightly uncontested way. I'm not going to pretend that everything is easy and straightforward. There are a few curveballs in there that I've thrown at you, which I won't spoil. I'll let you kind of discover on your own. But nevertheless, it's whatever I learned in the game. Let me then take that information, let's switch over to my Ubuntu environment and see, can I now do it for real? Can I accomplish the tasks with the information that Pac-Man was able to encounter and experience? You've gotten to the end of a level when in your Ubuntu machine you've discovered a flag file. So after you complete all of the necessary tasks that Pac-Man did in a particular level, of course with the exception of the tutorial level, you can't actually go out and ping anything on the live internet. But with all the rest of the levels, you will encounter a small flag file. And so this is also meant to give you a little bit of practice with what is it like to discover a flag? How do I know when I've reached the end? And so that's something that, of course, we're going to be doing a lot on the CTF side, is our Pac-Man system here, our Pac-Man game, is very good, or very synonymous with a lot of the capture the flag exercises, where it's like, okay, I'm working, how do I know when I'm done? It's like, well, you'll get a flag at the very end, and they're usually just very, very simple string files that you'll be able to see, okay, that's it. Now I know I've won, and all of my actions have finally earned some points for my team. So like I said, I am the main developer for this game, so if you have any comments or feedback, or if something's not quite working right, or if there's something that you'd like to see that you had a lot of fun with and you'd like to do more of, by all means, contact me. Let me know. And these are the types of things that I'm actively developing and releasing new levels as we go. So hope you have a bit of fun with it, and I look forward to seeing how it works out for everyone.